Another episode of 15 Impala Reassembly. We are working on the rocker moldings this morning, and of course you can't find, unless you're lucky enough to find NOS ones and pay the money for them. The best bet is Auto City, as is for just about everything. Real nice reproduction rocker molding set. They are advertised as, quote, "This reproduction is exact right down to the clips used for mounting. No difference from NOS." Well, I called them on that because this is the clip that you get with the kit. This is an original clip, which NOS should look like, only clean and anodized. These holes on the top and the bottom are for clipping into these two big holes. And that is not correct. The clips that are supplied appear to have some spring tension in them. That's why this one looks like it's been installed, because I did install it on the car to find out. The reason for these is so that they don't lose their tension and the rocker becomes loose. So I'm going to try them with this, because if we want to take them off and fix them later, it's not that big of an operation. And they should hold just fine with the spring tension that's on those. There's 4 of these on each side, plus the back retainer and the front retainer. So now that we're talking about back and front retainers, the screw that they send with the kit is not correct. It's a flat-headed anodized number 8 screw, and it is in no way, shape, or form correct. It's also too long. Here's the screw, and as you can see, there's no round head on the top, and it's just a regular zinc-plated 1-inch screw. So that's not correct. If you had an Impala that came out of the factory with Bel Air fenders and didn't have the correct mounting nut welded in the fender, it would have had this sheet metal screw. It's a number 10 head, bevel top, a round top, beveled head, about 3/4. It should be 3/4 of an inch long. This is only 1/2 inch long. And since we're talking about this, the different size screws that you deal with, you don't realize, unless you've done this a lot, what you're looking at. This thread is a number 10 thread, a number 8 thread, and these two are number 6 threads. Now the threads have size numbers, 10, 8, 6, but also the heads have sizes. This is a number, let me see, this is a number 10 head, a number 8 head, and that's on the number 8 threaded screw. This is a number 6, or number 8 head on a number 6 threaded screw, and this is a number 6 head on a number 6 thread screw. And those are normally used for chrome trim. You'll see on the interior of the car, that's what most of those are. And then they also have them, if they have a little washer on them, then they were through upholstery. So they make them that number 6 head screw just like that, only with a washer, a fixed washer. It doesn't come off of the screw itself. So that's a little lesson on the different screws. So what an Impala has is, and I'll post a picture of this in the video if I can, but on an Impala fender has a nut welded in this hole. And when these cars are so old, you hardly ever see a car with the nut still intact. And chances are, when you're doing body work on the fender, the welds will break and that nut will come out. The fix for that is a cage nut. They're cheap at the hardware store. Well, actually, they're not cheap at the hardware store, but you can get them at most hardware stores. And it's a 12/24 thread. The original one is a welded-in nut, square nut, 12/24 thread. So I use these cage nuts on the Impala fenders. And all Impalas will have a square hole unless for some reason, you know, during assembly they ran out of Impala fenders and they used a Bel Air fender, and then it would just have a hole drilled there in that location for the front rocker molding screw. And again, that should be a number 10 thread with a number 10 head. Now the other thing is, when you're putting these cars back together, there is a screw. There's 2 clips. There's supposed to be a screw that holds the center of the clip. So the original one would be like this, and it goes down like this, because that one just fits in the bottom hole like that, and then to top you use a pair of pliers and you flip that up and it holds it in there, and then the screw is a secondary retaining mechanism. Well, these screws are number 6 screws from the factory with a number little 6 button head screw. But once they've been in and out like this, you'll probably have to use a number 8 thread screw just to get enough bite. And I would do that anyway with these new clips, because the spring tension, that little number 6 thread is not going to hold the spring tension very well, even if it does hold. So, and these are a number 6 hole, so you're going to have to enlarge the hole to another size bigger so this 8 screw will fit in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a number 8 screw thread to put these on, and they do retain that spring tension. See, they're not flat. The factory ones are flat, and I'm sure they make these, and they do appear to, I've already had this installed and taken off, and it retained its spring tension. So that's what you need to know on 58 Impala rocker moldings.